100 people dead, 186,000 still without power, and the pattern that caused this is about to reload and come back even stronger. Between February 9th and February 12th, we are looking at an Arctic Oscillation value of -6, the North Atlantic Oscillation going negative, and multiple upper-level lows feeding Pacific moisture into a polar air mass. If you read anywhere from Texas to Maine, the next 20 minutes could be the most important weather information you hear all week. Right now, before we go any further, I need something from you. Comment your exact location below, not just your state, your city, your town, because tomorrow morning I am breaking down personalized forecasts for every area, and I am reading through these comments tonight. If you were in one of the uncertain zones, your input tells me where to focus the detailed analysis. Do this now while you rethinking about it. Let me give you the headline numbers immediately. Tennessee still has 56,000 people in the dark after a week. Mississippi, 75,000 without power. Northern Louisiana, 24,000. The Outer Banks of North Carolina could see 12 inches of snow plus blizzard conditions from the current system. Boston faces heavy snow with intermittent dry slots. The Tennessee and Kentucky region gets hit Tuesday into Wednesday with 1 to 3 inches. Florida sees freezing temperatures all the way down the peninsula by Monday. But the real story isn't any single storm. The real story is what starts in 7 days. This current East Coast storm is significant. Don't get me wrong, but it's the warm-up act. What's coming in the February 9th through 12th window is a complete pattern transformation that both major forecast models are screaming about. And when the European model and the GFS agree this far out on a major pattern shift, you pay attention. Let's talk about the immediate situation first, because some of you are dealing with this right now. The National Weather Service updated their impact maps this morning for the East Coast system. When you see light blue on their graphics, that S 1 to 2 inches of snow. Dark blue means 3 to 4 inches. Yellow indicates 6 to 8 inches. Darker orange shows 8 inches or more. Along the North Carolina coast, especially near the Outer Banks, we are now seeing forecasts of 12 inches plus with blizzard conditions expected. Here's what makes this storm complex. We're not dealing with one low-pressure system. We're dealing with two distinct features working together. There's an upper-level low that's bringing snow from the western portion of the system. Then there's a separate coastal low pressure that's developing right along the South Carolina coast. This coastal low is undergoing something meteorologists call frontogenesis. What that means in plain English is the temperature gradient across the front is sharpening rapidly. When that happens, you get forced rising motion, and forced rising motion means enhanced snowfall rates. South Carolina, this frontogenesis process is why you re-seeing higher snow totals than you might expect. The coastal low intensifies as it moves up the coast, bringing heavy snow to areas that might have otherwise seen more moderate amounts. But here, the challenge. If you rewrite on the coast near Myrtle Beach, current track guidance suggests you might see very little. The rain-snow line with coastal storms is brutally sharp. 30 miles can be the difference between 8 inches and nothing. North Carolina, your forecast is particularly difficult because the high-resolution models have been consistent over multiple runs, showing potential dry pockets. What this means is you could be in a location where everyone around you is getting snow, but you see almost nothing for hours at a time. Then it might ramp back up. Some areas could end up with 6 to 9 inches toward a foot while neighboring areas stay dry. This isn't a model glitch. This is a real atmospheric feature we retracking. For the Boston and Nantucket region, you are also looking at the potential for dry pockets where precipitation pauses for extended periods. The snow that does fall could come down at moderate to heavy rates when the coastal low is closest to you, but those gaps in precipitation are going to cut into your accumulation totals compared to a more steady snowfall event. This entire system wraps up quickly. By Sunday morning, it's offshore and done. But what it leaves behind is intense cold. Wind chills Sunday morning are going to be dangerous across everyone who just got snow. Then the cold air mass shifts south through Sunday into Monday. Florida, freezing temperatures are coming all the way down your peninsula by Monday morning. This is the same Arctic air that has been punishing the Gulf states all week, but it's making another southward push. Monday afternoon brings a brief temperature recovery across the southern tier. This is actually good news because it helps melt any ice or snow that accumulated during this current event. But, and this matters, anything in shaded areas might not fully melt. Then Tuesday morning, freezing temperatures return south again. Whatever moisture is still on the ground refreezes. Black ice becomes your primary hazard Tuesday morning anywhere from the mid-Atlantic through the Gulf Coast. Roads that don't see direct sunlight are going to be treacherous. Tuesday into Wednesday, the next system arrives. This one has been challenging for the models because the jet stream angle isn't favorable for strong surface development. What that means is you are getting a progressive system that doesn't have time to really bomb out. The Gulf states see rain from this one because warmer air wraps in on the southern flank. But Tennessee, Kentucky, and the Ohio Valley, you are in the snow zone. Current guidance suggests 1 to 3 inches, locally higher in spots where the best dynamics set up. It is not a blockbuster storm, but it's another accumulating snow event in what's becoming a relentless pattern. The pattern we re-locked into right now features cold air pouring straight south from Canada toward the mid-Atlantic. It's bringing multiple waves of light to moderate snow. Then in 5 or 6 days, we re-watching for a potential clipper system that could bring another quick shot. But all of this is minor compared to what the pattern does after February 9th. Here's where this gets serious. Both the Arctic Oscillation and the North Atlantic Oscillation are forecast to go strongly negative in the February 9th through 12th time period. Let me explain why this matters. The Arctic Oscillation measures how tightly the polar vortex is wound up over the North Pole. When it goes negative, especially down to -6 like we reforecasting, it means that cold air mass breaks loose and surges south. At the same time, when the North Atlantic Oscillation goes negative, it creates a blocking pattern over the Atlantic Ocean that acts like a traffic jam for the jet stream. The jet stream can flow straight west to east like it normally wants to. Instead, it gets forced into a deep dip. Think of it like this. Normally, the jet stream flows across the country relatively flat, maybe with some gentle waves. But when you get that Atlantic block, it is like putting a concrete barrier in the middle of a river. The water has to go around it. In this case, the jet stream gets shoved into a deep southward plunge and all that Arctic air comes with it. But here's what makes this setup particularly dangerous. We have multiple upper-level low-pressure systems sitting off the west coast. These are areas of spin in the upper atmosphere that carry Pacific moisture. Normally, they deride the jet stream out to sea and we'd never see them. But with that deep trough and blocking pattern, they're going to get pulled into the system. Each one of those upper-level lows is going to inject moisture into the Arctic air mass. That's how you get major snow events reaching deep into the south. The European model is very clear on this pattern. So is the GFS. When both major global models show the same large-scale pattern this far in advance, confidence in the overall setup is high. Now, the individual storm tracks are going to shift around. I can tell you today exactly where each system will track, but the pattern is locked. Cold air deep into the south, moisture feeding in from the Pacific, multiple opportunities for significant winter weather. The first wave in this pattern shows potential snow from the Central Plains spreading toward the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and out through the Northeast. The second wave, as we push deeper from the 9th toward the 12th, shows another possible system pulling Gulf moisture northward into cold air, back-to-back events. And the models are suggesting this pattern could produce multiple significant storms, each one tracking progressively further south as the cold air establishes itself. I need to be honest about forecast uncertainty here. We're talking about specific weather systems 7 to 9 days away. Those individual features will absolutely move around. A storm track could shift 100 miles east or west. Intensities will change. Timing will adjust. What I am showing you is the big picture pattern, not a locked-in forecast for your exact city. But when the pattern signal is this strong, it's time to start preparing, even if we don't have all the details yet. Current model guidance shows that European model, the GFS, and even the latest 6Z GFS run, all depicting the same thing. Upper-level energy feeding in from the west, low-pressure systems developing, heavy precipitation potential. And it's not just snow. These temperature profiles suggest significant icing potential as well, especially where warm air tries to override the cold surface layer. Let's talk about what the temperature pattern looks like because this is striking. Right now, the Gulf states have been below freezing all week. Wind chills Sunday morning drop it even further. Sunday night into Monday, that cold air sags all the way down the Florida peninsula. Monday afternoon gives you a break with temperatures rebounding north, but Tuesday morning the freeze returns across the Gulf states. Then Tuesday afternoon you finally get significant warming and anything left from the current snow melts. But that is the calm before the real cold arrives. When the February 9th through 12th pattern kicks in, we re-looking at temperatures that could be even colder than what we just experienced. Wind chills potentially reaching dangerous levels across a wide area. This is based on ensemble model guidance showing a strong signal for below normal temperatures persisting through the middle of the month. Here's what concerns me about infrastructure. We currently have 186,000 customers without power. Tennessee alone has 56,000 people who've been in the dark for up to a week. Mississippi has 75,000. Northern Louisiana, 24,000. These crews have been working non-stop in brutal conditions trying to restore service. When you layer another potentially significant winter weather pattern on top of already stressed systems, the risk for additional outages increases. Trees are already damaged. Power lines already compromised. Equipment already stressed. Another major event could cause cascading failures. The human toll has been devastating. Over 100 people have died in this current cold outbreak. 100 people. These aren't statistics. These are families torn apart, people who couldn't keep warm, people who lost power and couldn't get help, people who made desperate decisions trying to stay alive. And we're about to enter another pattern that could test everyone all over again. For citrus growers in Florida, you are facing repeated freeze events. Monday morning, Tuesday morning, then potentially even harder freezes in the February 9th through 12th window. You know what needs to be done to protect vulnerable crops. For homeowners in the South who aren't used to extended freezing, this is the week to check your preparation. Pipe insulation, letting faucets drip during the coldest periods, making sure you have adequate heating fuel. These aren't optional steps. In the upper Midwest, where these wind chills are going to be extreme, frostbite becomes a serious concern. When wind chills drop to the levels we forecasting, exposed skin can freeze in 15 to 30 minutes. If you have to be outside, you need to be covered. Face protection, multiple layers, limiting exposure time. Everyone needs to maintain at least half a tank of fuel in vehicles. If you get stranded in this kind of cold, you need to be able to run your car for heat while you wait for help. Check on neighbors who might be vulnerable, elderly residents, anyone with health issues, anyone who might have difficulty getting supplies or keeping their home warm. This is when communities need to take care of each other. Travel impacts are going to be widespread. The current East Coast storm is creating blizzard conditions in some coastal areas. The Tuesday-Wednesday system brings another round of difficult travel across Tennessee, Kentucky, and the Ohio Valley. That potential clipper in 5 or 6 days adds more problems. And when we reach the February 9th through 12th period, we could be looking at major winter storms affecting areas that aren't fully equipped to handle heavy snow. Now, this is way too early for specific details, but I want to flag something for you to watch. After this mid-February cold blast, the long-range pattern doesn't show an immediate break. Extended range models suggest the cold could persist well into late February. There might be additional storm systems beyond what I've outlined today. We could be looking at winter weather continuing all the way to the end of the month before we finally transition toward March. 6 more weeks of winter isn't just a groundhog prediction. It's what the atmospheric pattern is setting up to deliver. Let me lay out the timeline clearly. Current East Coast storm exits by Sunday morning. Intense cold follows through Monday. Brief Monday afternoon warm-up. Freezing returns Tuesday morning with black ice concerns. Next system Tuesday into Wednesday for Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio Valley with 1 to 3 inches of snow. Potential clipper in 5 or 6 days. Then the major pattern shift arrives February 9th through 12th with Arctic Oscillation crashing, NAO going negative, and multiple storm systems in frigid air. Your action deadlines are approaching fast. If you are in the current storm area, you are already dealing with it right now. For Tuesday, Wednesday, you need to be ready by Monday evening. For that clipper, we'll have better timing in the next day or two. But for the mid-February pattern, this week is your preparation window. Stock supplies, verify heat sources, check emergency kits, protect pipes. This isn't about creating panic. This is about being prepared for what's coming. Subscribe if you haven't already because tomorrow's update is essential. I'll be live by 8 a.m. Eastern, possibly earlier if overnight models show major changes. The East Coast storm is still evolving. Those North Carolina dry pockets could shift. The Tuesday-Wednesday track could adjust. and I'll have first solid data on that potential clipper. These systems change rapidly and you need current information. Comment your location again below. Be specific with your city or town. I am going through every comment tonight to make sure I cover your area in tomorrow's breakdown. If you're in a tricky forecast zone like coastal areas or right on the rain-snow line, I especially need to hear from you. I want to be completely transparent about what we know and what we don't. Individual storm tracks can shift 50 to 100 miles and completely change the forecast for specific cities. Models refine their solutions with every new run. I'll have better clarity tomorrow as more data comes in. This is the reality of extended forecasting. We can identify the pattern with high confidence when both major models agree on the big picture. But the storm-by-storm details require constant monitoring. I am not here to sensationalize. I am here to give you the most accurate information available so you can make informed decisions. Weather forecasting requires a careful balance. Be too conservative and people aren't ready when something major hits. Be too aggressive and you lose trust when it doesn't verify exactly as forecast. My commitment to you is providing the best information based on current data while being honest about uncertainty. If this approach works for you, I appreciate your continued trust. If I've missed something or gotten something wrong, that thumbs down button is there for a reason. Your feedback makes these forecasts better. Tomorrow's video will include updated model data from tonight's runs, refined snow totals for the Tuesday-Wednesday system, temperature adjustments as new data comes in, and preliminary information on anything developing beyond next week. This is going to be a comprehensive update covering everything you need to know. Turn on your notifications, hit that bell icon. When patterns are this active, if something significant changes overnight, you need to know about it first thing in the morning. I might go live earlier than 8 a.m. if the models warrant it. Things will change between now and tomorrow. The coastal storm could intensify or weaken. The track could shift north or south. Those dry pockets could expand or contract. This is why daily updates matter during active weather patterns. Yesterday's forecast might not match today's reality, and you need to know the difference. Final preparation checklist. Current storm areas, stay home if possible. Dangerous wind chills follow this system. Sunday, let faucets drip in areas not accustomed to prolonged freezing. Monday, watch for road refreezing, especially in shaded areas. Tuesday morning, black ice is your primary concern. Tuesday evening, prepare for the next system if you are in Tennessee, Kentucky, or Ohio Valley. This coming week, get ready for the mid-February pattern that's going to affect everyone. Look out for vulnerable neighbors. Check on elderly family. Anyone who might struggle with extreme cold or getting supplies needs our help. Weather events like this test communities. How we respond to that test defines who we are. Thank you for trusting me with critical weather information. I take this responsibility seriously because weather impacts real lives, real families trying to stay safe, real communities trying to function through dangerous conditions. My role is giving you accurate, timely information so you can protect yourself and your loved ones. I am not here to create fear. I am here to provide facts. Tomorrow brings critical updates. Tracks will refine. Models will adjust. You need to see that information. Make sure you resubscribed, notifications on. I'll see you tomorrow morning with everything new on this developing winter pattern. Stay safe, everyone. Prepare now for what's ahead. This pattern